A few weekends have passed and we're about to reach the end. But who will be the players that will be advancing to the final showdown? Welcome to the penultimate week of the Oceania Apprentice Level 7K tournament. I am your one of the co-hosts, Surf285. And alongside with me in the commentary booth will be Mifa, though I think they are starting their Discord right now or something like that. So we'll be seeing more of them later. So yeah, we have quite a match coming here today. We have Silhoueska Elze facing Kzon for a slot in tomorrow's set of matches. They are in the losers bracket now. Silhoueska Elze dropping to the losers bracket last weekend, losing a pretty big one, a pretty big match against, if I'm not mistaken, I hope my memory is not failing. Silhoueska Elze lost to there we go, to Nano and Bandusty 6-1. There, hence the reason why Silhoueska Elze we're seeing right now. Kzon, on the other hand, surviving two matches in the semifinals weekend, winning 6-0 to Unitory by default, and winning 6-3 against Pule for Thief. And as it stands, it is Kzon that is going into this round as the lowest seeded player at seed number 8. At this point in the tournament, like, seeds won't be mattering that much. I think we're seeing the first warm-up of this match. So again, joining me in the booth here is Mifa.
Hello. Yeah. About this, I think in this particular match, I believe like you said before, Kzon was in the last surviving lowest seed. I suppose you could say that because seed number 8 going to the finals is a little bit of an upset, especially when considering you have like 6 remaining players in the tournament. So it would be interesting to see how he fares up in the late game, especially.
Well, it is pretty interesting indeed, since this will be the first time we'll also be seeing Silhoueska Elze play charts of this difficulty, at least on 7K. I mean, like, he has been grinding a lot on 7K, and so is basically all of every single player in this tournament. So, like, at this stage of the tournament, this is where we'll just have to see whose grind is going to go full fruition.
Yeah.
Also, what is this start?
All seven chord smash. That's chord jack essentially.
Definitely not something you'll play on a keyboard at Ghosts. That is for sure.
Not that complicated of a pattern either. It's just chords after chord that is relatively slower speed. So it's not really something that you would see these players struggling. Although, I mean, that kind of ratio is just to be expected, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely a chord jack score, if anything. Alright, now here we go. Second warm-up, and we're seeing Rockhill.
Seeing familiar face in the, 7 or 8 Dan? I think 7 Dan. I think
it's 7. 7th one.
Interesting to see because I mean, I'm not talking about like in terms of like a data perspective, but I find this like to be like the easiest of the the 7 LN release then, because I find this easier than 5th for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, at least pacing wise, this does play something like a brackety chord stream in a way. You just have to be careful with the release timings for the most part. I remember getting an S on this like as soon as I got Dan 4 on the LAN. Like,
Well, I
this
mean,
is a pretty easy chart.
Yeah, I think Denfor in particular has some pretty funny stuff that doesn't really involve coordination or whatever. It's just purely releases.
Honestly, like a dynamic that we're probably going to be expecting in this match is that this might be a Rice versus LN matchup. Silhoueska Elze might be the one who's going to be favored a bit more on the LNs, though Kzon, as we're seeing at least on this one, they're very capable of keeping up. I mean, they're currently holding Silhoueska Elze at bay.
Yeah, the releases like this.
This is really tricky to play.
I mean, if you're especially when you're getting used to like the 4-key releases, this doesn't seem to be too bad. I feel like.
But yeah, like with the pools being a bit more physical this time around, like even the slower LS are going to be a bit more physically demanding. Well, I have no doubt that both of these players will have quite a decent battle throughout this entire match. Not yet sure on how far the matches will go.
Oh
This
my
match in
god,
particular will go, but it's going to
Elsa
be interesting.
Elsa takes the lead after the last Ellen releases. That's kind of funny. What's interesting to me is that when this chart was used in like the semifinals 2019 7 key, this kind of score is actually pretty competitive in that current year. So interesting to see how it actually plays out for the rest of the match. So gonna be seeing the rolls actually. El's not very well in the rolls, getting a 24 here. Oh, that's a 21. Elze wins that by a pretty close one actually. Closest to margins of the roll there. So Kzon will be banning first. I'm kind
Just
of
mentioning Kobe Bryant on the 24 roll, which is kind of funny because last night we were watching basketball, Asian Games final. Like Jordan's naturalized player. Looks like Kobe Bryant. Carries number 24. The only thing is like they're using the mirror mod since they're left-handed.
Alright, so given that Kzon will be banning Rise 6, it was the As Alice Dream. I believe this is more like a. I guess when given the div name, it's probably more BMS-ish. Core jacket, so kinda like that. But
This is going to be that is our mixed rice pick actually. The shorter of the two mixed rice picks we have. Oh yeah, before I forget, there was an expansion in the map pool since you see this is going to be a first to 7 match now, best of 13. So the new additions are going to be the new RC2, which is we see here as Shine, or you could actually read it as Shine.
well,
That will be our stamina pick. Yeah, we have stamina, like a proper stamina pick now for Rice, and then for LN, the additional pick is LN4, which is a more proper mixed LN pick.
yeah,
Uh, yeah,
it's just the Ellen that it isn't trying to be in between coordination or whatever density that is.
yeah. So those are the expansion picks coming off the previous round, and both players interestingly banning Rice. RC4 getting banned here by Silhoueska Elze, which is the core jack pick.
And looks like we're going straight into hybrids, going for Thunderbolt Wonders.
So as expected with Silhoueska Elze, who just started playing Project Sekai. Playing
This is meant
Todemo
to be
Wonders.
this is meant to be targeted pick for especially when you're really strong and then in the sharpshooting department. This would be that kind of pick that you would expect them to see.
Well, for the most part, this chart is practically a chord stream pick. Like, there are a few dedicated LN sections here, but it's not really that much of an LN chart per se. Like, I'd say like most of your rice ability will be like this chart is going to be very reliant on your rice ability.
I mean, given that OD5 is already pretty generous for a hybrid like this. Although we see some couple of missteps there by Kzon. That's another already drop right there.
Pretty interesting set of early drops there from Kzon. But then for Silhoueska Elze on the other hand, I think aside from being able to maintain her consistency, it's probably going to be their combo as well because the start will become more difficult near the end. And there we go, first miss coming from Silhoueska Elze. Kzon is not yet out of it. Kzon will not yet be out of it because we might be seeing more of those drops. And there's a second one from Silhoueska Elze.
There's another
look at
one
the accuracy,
actually.
they're becoming close.
They're becoming pretty close. Elze is not being able to contend with the density of the core stream, but we're entering a little bit of a interlude into the a little bit more of a trickier sections with the LNs coming soon after. It's pretty deceptively hard to time, and
Ooh, there
already
we go.
Elze is finding another draw, and that takes the lead for Kzon there.
Kzon now needs to maintain this combo in some form here as Silhoueska Elze finds yet another drop going into the final chorus of the song, and these chord streams are practically denser than in comparison to the earlier sections. Silhoueska Elze finding yet another drop. Kzon now starting to pull ahead.
Kzon starting to really pull his steam back up. 25,000 point lead and still gaining on that, although there's a trade, but it's still practically the same lead as like in the first 10 seconds. At this point, there's not really much for room to recover for Elze, especially with a lot of drops being happening. So Kzon will take the breakpoint actually.
And that is said to be the bigger concern here for Silhoueska Elze in these more physical picks, I would reckon. They need to be and Kzon should be able to get an eye on that as well. That maybe use the more physical picks to just keep the just to build on that advantage, I would presume.
Well, I think, especially with the late game pulls, especially in the finals level, you would more concerned about getting as high as combo as you physically can, and I think sharpshooting department isn't really gonna work if you're dropping so much. So we're gonna see Eternal Drain coming out here, literally the delay-ish speed stream.
And there we go. And this chart, while possibly one of the easier picks on paper, at least on the Dan levels per se, like this pool is going to be around like the Dan 4, Dan 5 level. This isn't exactly the easiest to combo.
Yeah, well, it's more interesting that when you say that this is really interesting to lock on some of the columns in between. It's already hard enough to act as is, especially when the delay, when you would really focus on maybe nitpicking some like 298 BPM-ish, I guess more polyrhythmic structure to it. So it's just you have to just concern your combo more than anything.
That is true. Though I guess a dynamic that is interesting if you're paying attention to the chat. Kzon did mention that this they shouldn't really be picking this. Is that like or are they just bluffing?
And we'll have to see because that's a interesting start by Kzon. Not that great of a start really.
Yeah, like starting off with a pretty big miss as well, like missing like a few and bad acting a few notes, which is not really something you'd want to see unless very early on in a delay chart, like you're not going to be expecting to combo this that much. There's a second drop there from Kzon. But then, as what we've seen on Tondemo Wonders, once the more beefier patterns come in, there's a really good chance that Silhoueska Elze might be dropped where somehow.
Yeah, once we get into a little bit trickier or denser section, I mean the pattern stays the same throughout. It's just there's more tricky patterns involving some of the columns that are very tricky to act, and I think this becomes more apparent once we get to this last third of the song, because that's what the chart beat comes up.
Well, here we go as we enter the chorus of this song. And the patterns become a bit more beefier, get a bit trickier to read. Both players, Kzon unfortunately dropping their combos. Silhoueska is still surprisingly still holding on to their full combo.
I wouldn't really call it that too early, because it still has some bits of levin material to chart, and I think the lead is already established pretty much that this is Elze's lead, although there's a drop right after the end of that tail of the strain. It's pretty much too late for Kzon to come back from this.
It is indeed. Like, there's just the final section remaining. There's another drop of Silhoueska Elze, but I don't think that would matter that much.
Already a solid lead being built up by Elze, and now that's a back-to-back breakpoints. It's now 1-all. I guess in this case, it does really matter for Elze's act to be actually shining here, because the ratio and the stock differences in between the 200 counts is becoming more apparent in this case.
Well, Silhoueska Elze may be opening up just a bit of the pool, most probably. But then, like, this early on, like, there's still 6 points left to gain. Like, there's still some uncertainty in a way.
Okay. We're still venturing into the hybrids, not yet into the Ellen territory just yet.
We're going for the wildcard hybrid here, and let's just say this chart is whack.
I mean, Sankan's charts have been in general are just whack.
Sankatsuki charts, yeah, they're really epic. Like, I think I remember somebody mentioning the Maple Showcase. Wait, what? Sankatsuki in MALT? What?
I mean, Sankan's charts have been, I guess, and most people would describe it as pretty unconventional as in their charting approaches. Since you wouldn't normally expect Sankan's nature to charting is more of a, I guess, in the denser or just jankiest patterns in the entire universe to chart, and I think this is one of them, especially concerning the 4 stars. Not exactly that you would really want to see in a hybrid like this.
Well, if anything though, this chart does have a decent level of element coordination on it, and it's pretty much like, I think it's like one of the reasons why Silhoueska Elze is looking at this pick in particular. Her element coordination has been pretty whack as well. Like these mini inverts.
Oh yeah! Oh my god! Okay, already double drop from both of these on the same exact section. Another one actually from Elze.
Yeah, it's a pretty big act drop as well. But not that much of an advantage here coming from Kzon.
Oh, there's already a polyrhythm on the LNs, and Elze is really struggling to release that properly. I think so far though, because this is a cut version of the when Sankan would normally chart in the middle section, and this is already starting back on the last third of the chart, and it's really starting to pick up.
It's kind of interesting to see Silhoueska Elze actually dropping those LNs. Like aside from being whack, they're fairly straightforward.
Well, I wouldn't really say straightforward as far as unconventional charting goes. It's just there's so much going on all at once, and you really can't comprehend once you get there. And I think Elze is really struggling on that front.
That's fair.
And then this Ellen releases right here is where the monster comes into play.
Well, if anything, Kzon is doing a phenomenal performance here, carrying almost a 98% act there, and they will be getting the third consecutive breakpoint in this match.
Yeah,
No
this is.
player has won their pick.
I'm kind of concerned about this because given unconventional chars like this, there's only this pick. We don't get to see this. Maybe I guess in the I don't know, like long note 4 and long note 5 picks. But other than that, it's just everything is just pretty conventional, all things considered.
It depends now if what Kzon sees here, and they're going for Abyssal Sky. Horde Steam pick.
I guess in the sense that this is also a little bit faster court stream, I guess, or maybe in the sense that would be denser than that.
I actually like this pick, at least coming off from what we saw on Tondema Wonders. Like the BPM range, like the BPM is around the same level. Uh, though to be fair, the Rice here is going to be a bit denser. They're going to be a bit more abrasive. But this should be right up Kazon's alley here to take advantage of immediately and grab their third point. Should everything go their way, obviously.
Also, yeah, keep in mind that this is also, I guess, the longer. I guess this is the longest pick by the entire match so far. Just so you
Okay.
know, we're getting to the consistency territory. Not like Shine, but this is longer than when what everyone's to play. But already Elze
Ooh, what was
picking up
that, Emily?
picking up a weird miss already. I guess that kind of traded out with Kazon dropping a few 200s on the intro. Already second drop by Elze there, but I think Elze is gonna pick up a rack really, really soonish now.
It depends on Silhoueska really needs to take advantage more of these
Oh wow!
horde heavy sections. Kzon actually dropping a horde. Oh, interesting.
Dropping on the X core patterns, but now everyone's starting to actually lose their marbles a little bit there. Kzon is actually struggling, and also does Elze. So really, this the least just going is just switching back and forth really.
I think this is really reliant on who could hold on to their paces a bit more, and as it appears, it's Kzon, especially with Silhoueska dropping left, right, and center.
Also worth noting more that even these players are struggling. I think I can get a sense on why they're not handling this pretty well, because this is more akin to like the BMS core streamish pick. The outer columns into play is what makes them really suffering.
Yeah, that is the theory of this chart. Really, this is going to be a bit more reliant on, like, at least on what we're focusing on. Like, we wanted a bit more focus on like BMS like patterns for the core scene picks for this round and the next.
I guess that's not yet. I guess there's not really much you can do, especially if you're really struggling on this kind of BMS core stream, because you would really need to pick up and practice a lot of the BMS charts in particular to be able to grasp on what this chart should do.
Well, if anything though, like regardless, Kzon has established a pretty sizable lead now, and these trades won't be affecting it that much. So Silhoueska is barely holding on to a 95% accuracy.
And this is already becoming very clear that this lead is already established for Kzon, and finally we get to see Kzon's own pick to get a point on.
The breakpoint streak has been broken. It's going to be Silhoueska Else's turn to pull themselves back into this match.
Yeah, I think with the hybrids are not working on Elsa's favor, it really goes down to Alans, and we're now going for Otana no Kite. So, well, a little bit of akin to the floating sky, somewhat similar to that. Although this is obviously a little bit harder than that.
Well, if anything, this is way more straightforward than slow dancing in the dark at least. So that there's that going for Silhoueska Elze here. And really, if anything, this is LN1 and LN2 should be the picks that Silhoueska Elze like Silhoueska Elze needs to take advantage of, because at least for most of the roster, I mean, relative to the rest of the roster, Silhoueska Elze is one of the strongest LN release, LN coordination players.
Yeah, this is just a bit more. I guess in this case, this match has been one-upping anything because this is now the longest chart being picked in this entire match. Really, we're just on one-upping the length of this entire chart because this is almost 3.5 minutes, and it's slow for what it is. Yeah, you can clearly see why this is really placed to Elze's strengths there. Really focusing on releasing coordination and more so keeping Axe still afloat to about like a 99.7 plus.
Like, this chart does increase in difficulty the further it goes. So it's really going to be a matter of being able to be consistent as the difficulty increases. We saw Silhoueska Elze dropping for the first time, and there's a second time, giving Kzon the lead.
No,
Go. Ooh.
no, not quite there because Kzon already, I think, might have been letting go very early on that one of the LNs there. And now Elze has the lead, just, I guess practically there's no lead because the draws simultaneously back and forth now.
But Silhoueska Elze is in the position to increase that lead, though they have been trading misses. Silhoueska Elze finding an additional one though. And that should give Kzon the advantage, and there you go.
Should be. I mean, now it's becoming more apparent that Kzon has about a little bit more buffer than he needs to be. Elze is struggling to get her bearings back. Now Elze is dropping below Kzon's accuracy, the further down the load now.
Yeah, like the amount of physicality needed for this start is like, it's kind of deceiving that this chart doesn't look physical at all, but then you need physicality to be able to control what you're able to hold.
I guess in a sense it would be the dexterity on being able to be coordinating anything rather than physically.
Yeah, that's a better word for it. And those shields that we saw earlier were not helping Silhoueska Elze at all.
Yeah, once the chart comes into last bit of the like 30 seconds of the chart go, I just think that's it really needs a really huge mistake by Kzon to be able to catch back, but it does not seem like it because Elze is picking up more draws on their end.
Okay, so this story is this continuing to establish that lead now, and this is practically untouchable now with a few seconds of the chart remaining.
About 70,000 point lead there, around 74,000 almost, but it's literally what this is for the chart because you would really need to coordinate properly to be able to do this, and Elze is not properly handling it very well, so that's another breakpoint for Kzon now.
And Kzon mentioning that this is their personal best, so congratulations to them.
Already a very good start by Kzon right there, picking up a 3-point lead there. So Kzon will have another chance on maybe trying to extend this lead now. We're going straight into going straight to Susumu Otome now.
Going for the wildcard LN, the obviously O2 jam pick, given the difficulty name.
Yeah, 7 key hard level. I think that kind of difficulty naming format is it's just screaming out to gem in all different ways.
Like O2 jam charts in general, like, they're all over the place in a way.
I mean, in a sense, that's fair enough. That's fair enough because I guess the difficulty value and the naming is pretty much arbitrary all the time. You can not normally expect to see like what constitutes a level 37 and what constitutes a level 40 or above or something like that. Seems we get to a little bit of a synced up properly for these players to make sure that they actually play on the same frame rate.
But yeah, a similar pattern here. Silhoueska Elze with the early accuracy lead, but it's really like we're relying here on whether Silhoueska Elze is able to maintain that composure, because Kzon is just breathing right behind her neck.
Yeah, even though with accuracy as wild as she does right now, it's really dependent on whether you have to concern about your combo ability. Comes into a little bit more trickier Ellen section. I mean, Ellen, I guess almost staircasey like, but it shouldn't be too bad once you get into the middle of the chart right now. But now Elze is fighting a drop there.
And that drop is going to be pretty big as well, since the accuracy gap isn't too big now that Silhoueska Elze finds a second drop, and that means that Kzon will be increasing their lead, and they're still carrying a pretty decent. Actually, this is a full combo if I'm not mistaken.
This is still a decent chunk of the chart left, so I wouldn't call it that way too early now. Oh, that's a nasty drop by both of these players right there.
But the lead is pretty established. If anything, Silhoueska Elze needs to pick up the pace and not commit any misses, because that is not going to help her cause.
Oh, that's a pretty nasty drop by the accuracy by Kzon there. Might actually shrink the lead just a tad bit, but I guess in a way it really comes down to whether you can actually hold into your combo, and Kzon really does it this way.
And that ends LN6. I mean LN5.
Just picking up 2 slider breaks.
Yeah.
Jumping straight into another LN density-ish, kinda.
Going for the turkey chart.
Potential for anything. I feel like this would be fine as a pick if like you said before, Elze needs to really hold her ground a lot more than what she did on the first 4 picks. So it should. I think this would be the kind of pick that you would really expect to see Elze shine on if she can do it well.
Yeah, at least from what I'm seeing, like from her form over the past few weeks, is that if the Ellen chart favors her skill set in general, like she'll be able to hold on just fine. But like for stuff like this, this chart is practically an Ellen chord stream chart, and chord streams haven't exactly favored Silhoueska Elze over the past few weekends. Like we've seen from her previous opponents, like whenever the chord stream pick happens, it's when Silhoueska Elze is at its shakiest, and it's their opponent's best opportunity to get a point. And now with an opponent like Kzon, who is able to maintain that composure, able to maintain that consistency, she needs to hold on to her ground.
Oh, actually, the lead is now practically just even out. Elze keep dropping a little bit of an accuracy, and Kzon still kind of has breathing down her neck, and now Elze is back on below Kzon's accuracy now.
Pretty opposite of what we've seen over the past few picks, but if that's the case, Kzon is well on their way to just carry. I think we're on their way to carry this home. Should this journey not have too many hitches, but as with the song's title, there is a potential for anything to happen in this pick.
I think this is the highest combo we've seen by both of these players, like naturally.
It is. And there you go, Silhoueska is dropping their combo as what we would have expected. You know, Kzon just getting this impressive combo at 99.3%.
Yeah, it's still staying the same accuracy as he did before on the on the first 500 notes, and it's still the same accuracy all the way through.
We're about to enter the final quarter of this chart, and this lead is starting to get a bit more established. Like, this is a pretty sizable lead now, and it will take a lot of misses coming from Kzon if for Silhoueska Elze to catch up in somehow. And what makes this hard for Silhoueska Elze as well is that once Kzon wins this, they're going to be at match point, with the pool wide open for Kzon to pick anything.
And there's another nail in the coffin right there for Elze, just to not making sure Kzon's not getting the loss there. And there you go, Kzon's with the full combo finally into this late into the match. Actually, very impressive clean one at that.
Oh, look at that! Look at those 300 counts. They're pretty similar. So I was really just finding a few more blotches in their run.
And there you go. We get to see what this Kzon's gonna pick after that, because we got still have quite a few options there for Kzon. There's still hybrid. There's still more LNs, and there's still also the practically the center of the rice mass haven't been played yet.
Well, Kzon could afford to pick any of the LNs, I would think. But I'm interested to see more of their rice ability at least. Though I am aware that there are conditional matches.
Oh,
They might
we're getting
Kzon. Oh?
we're getting McFlurry here.
Yeah, the best song in the pool, the best chart in the pool, I reckon.
The newer category of the LNs, I might add.
Yeah.
Oh, it might have not been the case, because I believe that Kzon's probably picked the wrong chart, I believe.
Wait. Are they picking LN4 or hybrid too?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
I
they're
think
going for this, alright.
you're going for this, so we're not picking Shiba Paradise, because unintentionally Kzon doesn't know that is hybrid too. So we're going to see this one. We're going to see McFlurry. This is just a battle of comboing, if anything. So it really goes down to whoever actually keeps the combo the longer it gets.
And this chart, while pretty straightforward in a way, like the combo part here is as well. Also, here comes the LN art.
Oh, that's an letting go on one of the LNs for Elze right there. Yeah,
Actually, having some problem on that one-handed invert.
still having practically the same accuracy as Kzon, even with 2 drops already, so it could swing in some way. But Kzon really starting to pick up the groove here because given how Turkey goes for Kzon right there, he might actually start to pick up the slack here.
Yeah, like while the accuracies are actually pretty close still, so Silhoueska still has some hope on catching up in some form here, but she needs to hope that Kzon finds a pretty sizable drop somewhere in this chart, and obviously maintain that consistency as well.
Oh, actually, Akis is catching on now. It's now practically almost even. So the lead is switching, nah, not quite there because Elze finding a drop there. This one is really tricky to get through because of the coordination of the rest of the column of the LNs, and Elze is picking way too many drops on that one.
Oh, what are those drops, Emily? That is not something you'd expect coming from Silhoueska, I think. Meanwhile, Kzon actually impressively maintaining the full combo.
It's practically this last quarter of this chart, and I believe this would be even more in Kzon's favor because of the patterning here.
If anything, this is a statement score here coming from Kzon. They are going to be playing one more match this weekend. Like, that's not gonna matter anymore, I would think.
Yeah, there's a rest in peace and full combo, but it's still like it's just a clean one of a drop, really.
It is. And with that, unless if something happens to Kzon's internet or something, Kzon will be advancing to tomorrow's set of matches, winning this match against the number 3 seed of this tournament, eliminating the number 3 seed of this tournament 7-1.
Impressive showing by Kzon here. All the way through, Kzon's making a statement here that even though his accuracy might not be the best for the entire tournament, but combo is literally what he keeps them going forward into the tournament, and securing a top 4 at that too. So congratulations to Kzon there. And for Elze, also congratulations for actually pulling off an impressive top 6 for this entire tournament run.
Yeah, I think that is a very respectable finishing position in any tournament. I would, if I could say so. So Kzon will be up for a pretty big match, like going to be bidding to be part of the top 3, but But for that match, they are going to be waiting for the winner of the Rhymeswood match versus Charlie's Mad Cut matchup, which is going to be happening at 19 UTC a few hours from now. And that specific matchup will either have that Kzon versus the winner of that match will either happen at 4 UTC or 14 UTC, depending on who wins the match the former match we just mentioned. So, do you have anything else to say, Mipa, before we close this out?
Yeah, especially for I think in Mash and Charles Madcut's match, I think there's also like the winners bracket one, which is also pretty interesting to see who's actually gonna be on the top 2 on that on the tournament spot right there. Accelerates versus Nana Bendusty. It's I guess in a tournament setting you would see, I guess, in the more traditional Rise versus LN fashion over there. So you really don't want to miss that one too.
Well, with that, we'll be seeing you guys at 19 UTC for the next match, Rhymeswood match versus Charlie's Mad Cut. This is Q85 and Mifa for the OC Mania Presence of 7K tournament. See you guys then.